Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a very rare Saturday episode of what used to be at one time called the Commuting Follies. It's just another live broadcast. I haven't been on the Facebook Lives in a couple weeks or so. And this particular day, I don't know how long this broadcast is going to go because it's just me, my car, a bunch of my random thoughts. I'm actually on my way to a assigned lacrosse game that I'm going to be shooting down in Poway. So for the people who are not from this area, at least from Southern California, I'm looking at about a 120-mile jaunt from my house up here in Lawndale all the way down to Poway, which is just north of San Diego. It's a little bit of a drive. And yes, all this is being sent down to shoot a regular high school lacrosse game in ever so dramatic fashion. I am not kidding. This is actual coverage for a high school lacrosse game 120 miles away. I mean, if clients ask for certain things, you just go ahead and do it. But at the same time, though, I have to say, doing videography for stuff like this, really does make me wonder about the resources that high schools have and what students have and what they don't, and what communities can offer and what they can't. And it's a very interesting one to go. I mean, I've heard of Poway High School being really good at lacrosse, but I guess it's to the point where they're even being covered by company websites. So that's pretty crazy stuff. So my driving instructions, which are pretty brainless, were get on the 405 for a while, drive a bunch southbound toward a general direction, and then get off the freeway. So there really isn't that much involved in today's drive, except it's going to be kind of mindless. And it's 8:47 in the morning Pacific Daylight Time. Estimated travel time is approximately an hour and 47 minutes, but because it's Saturday and the game actually starts at 1 p.m., but I have to be there sooner to film all pregame footage and things like that, it probably is in my best interest to not add any additional stress to myself and just get down there early so I can take my time and get my shot list correct and everything like that. Because I will say, and I'd like to extend my gratitude to everyone who's been very supportive over the last couple of weeks with my transition back into independent contracting life. And all of the quips in the comments, they do mean a lot. It's really funny when I can just kind of speak my mind, and it's something that some people can relate to. So I am very grateful for the people that have done that. And if you're just reading anything that I've posted, it's social media is one of those interesting things where you just put something out there and see what people say, and it's pretty cool. So really grateful for that. But the 28th, Saturday, April 28th, is a really good time to get out of Lawndale. Now, why this particular day? Today is the annual Pirate Days Parade for the city of Lawndale. And because of where I live, I am right in front of the main thoroughfare for the parade route. And so even just getting out of my house to do this stuff was already a problem. And I realized that if I had waited maybe about 35 more minutes to have left my house, there would have been no way that I would have been able to get out easily because of the parade route closing down Manhattan Beach Boulevard for the most part. So I think it was good timing for me to get out, even though it is a bit early. But hey, as much as everything else has been kind of weird and I'm having to adjust to time changes and situations in regards to income, I think less stress on myself might be helpful. So today I'm in the car. I have all of my equipment with me and a pair of flip-flops. So we'll see where this goes today. This should be a quick about 2-hour coverage, 2.5. If you add the pregame coverage, about 3 hours. And then I have to swing by, grab something for somebody, and then jump right back on the freeway and head back up here to LA. So it's a pretty much get out, get in, get out, and do it. I mean, I could make this a pleasure cruise. One time I shot something like this in San Diego. I actually shot 2 games in San Diego about 2 years ago, and it was something very similar. The only difference is I had to Airbnb it, and it was actually a 2-game series split over 2 days, so I ended up turning this into a weekend. This time around, it's just 1 game, and then I get back up here, and that's cool. I'm good with that, and you know, getting paid for the distance and the time, so it's fine. But you know, when you get a job like this, and you know, it's all you can do, you just gotta take care of it. So now, a couple questions I've had in regards to the situation that I'm dealing with right now is, you know, how are you going to be able to get through the summer? And the good news is that that's not even an issue, and that I'm fortunate to be resuming my 5th or 6th summer. I forget. Time flies when you're having fun, but I will be continuing my post on a full-time basis at Performing Arts Workshops. So yes, I will be the one schlepping your coffee and bringing your papers and collecting all your money, because I can, and that's going to be my gig from basically middle of June all the way to the near end of August. So the good news is that's not a big issue. The only issue I have currently at hand is I just got to get through May, and that is actually very, very feasible. Made it to the end of April, I'm fine, and not in the greatest situations that I'd like to be in, but at the same time, though, making it through, and you know, it is stressful. Now, I will say this, and you know, earlier this month I celebrated the 1st anniversary of when I started doing these live broadcasts, and I'm just, you know, talking about life and things like that. And I wonder what would have happened if I was doing Facebook Live during the time when I was still doing near full-time independent contracting, you know, schlepping. I mean, I don't know if it would have been possible, but when I was still a full-time motorcycle courier, in addition to doing my videography gigs on the side and all the extra work that I was kind of just doing here and there, and just cobbling to make it work. And you know, this isn't the first time that I've had to cobble and make it work. But that's the thing about LA. LA does, if you are resourceful enough, LA does provide options or ways that you can, you know, make things work in the gig economy. Not my favorite economy to work in, but it's one of those places where there is an opportunity if you seek to find it. And it's one of the few things that I do find as that I've appreciated about being in this area. Granted that there's a lot of other things, like how everything is so hella expensive and all that stuff, but you can make it work if you try. I'm not saying that, you know, everyone's guaranteed success or everyone's guaranteed to survive somehow, and it does take a certain kind of mindset and personality to really try to pull things off in the way that I'm kind of pulling it off. I still don't even know how I'm getting through this. But, you know, you will bloom where you're planted. Things happen for a reason. And, you know, I guess there were some signs in the universe that said, you know, my career has to take a different path again. But at least for, you know, the better part of 2.5 years, I was able to at least call some half-decent level of stability to figure out that, you know, I'm not meant to be in a place that's going to keep me stagnant and limit my capabilities. So there you go. So currently I'm on the 405 for a long time. I mean, I probably should start carrying maybe as soon as I get to where the 405 ends and becomes just the 5 straight. And I mean, it would be probably at least about another hour until I pass the nuclear tits at San Onofre, which is my official marker. But here we are. So that's really where things have been. Been spending the last couple days just kind of working on homework. I think middle of May is the end of my semester, my spring semester at Cal State Long Beach, and kind of winding down to the last few projects. And there will be like one of my classes has a final exam, and it's one that's similar to one I took back in December, and I just have to actually care about it. But Aside from that, and about an 8-page proposal, that's about nearing the end of my time for the spring semester, and then figuring out what I want to do next. Now, because of what's been going on, I've contemplated, very, very, very slightly, but contemplated taking a leave of absence from Cal State Long Beach. But I think that in response to the amount of time I have now, I think it's probably in my best interest to just stay the course and finish, because I'm not going to let this bring me down either. On a broader note, I was accepted to Phi Kappa Phi, the National Honor Society for grad students. It was really cool, and I think they like the fact that I have a 4.0 still. I'm still hanging on to it. We'll see what happens at the end of this semester. I know I always say that, but I don't like. I guess it's probably that whole emotionally scarred overachiever part of me that has never been told that I was good enough for anything, and it's actually something that I've had to fight for the better part of my academic life, and I just have to keep remembering that I'm in master's degree for myself, but I know I pressure myself to do too well, all the way to the point that I did an extra assignment last night I didn't have to do, and I was kind of pissed off about it. I know, I just you've got to be kidding me. It's like I write this 2-page piece on a 7-page article that I didn't have to read and I didn't have to do it. I'm going, son of a bitch, I should have just listened to myself and checked my calendar again. But no, I decided to be an overachiever and finish it in under an hour, and there you go. Oh well, it's called life. So anyway, that is what it is. I'm actually passing Cal State Long Beach right now on the 405, which is kind of funny, and I've just gotten passed by McLaren. What are you doing on this fine Saturday, sir? All your blueness and stuff. It is what it is. Yeah, no hurries, no worries. Full tank of gas, get down there. This part of me says, hey, Christine, on your way back up, maybe you could just turn your Uber back on and, take some people back up. Might not be a bad idea, except that I've just got too much junk in the back of my car. I could make it work, but I just wonder how that would kind of go down if I were to, take an Uber passenger all the way back up from, I don't know. I might try it later. Let's see what happens. After I get my donuts. I muse. I guess right now it's kind of like scavenger mode. It's like how can I bring in some income while I'm out in the openness of the world. So make for a good time, right? So if you have any questions or comments, yes, I am live right now. Yes, I can kind of glance down at my screen because it's actually mounted as I would be driving Uber, so I can look at that. But there really isn't anything going on. It's almost 9 a.m. and I am trying to just beat normal traffic to get down to Poway, and I would rather be stuck in traffic in Poway rather than stuck in traffic up here, panicking about getting to my shooting site today for filming. So, early bird gets the worm, or early leaving gets out of traffic. I don't know what the term is now, but I don't have to exceed 65 if I don't want to, and that is okay. So, but yeah, school, I tell you, it does take a chunk out of your soul sometimes. I heard from somebody that grad school brain is actually a thing. It's when your brain gets all scrambled because you start thinking about too many high level things to the point that you've completely neglected everything low level, like what is on your agenda. I think I am suffering from a little bit of that grad school brain issue, even though I'm only taking 2 classes. But like I said, I'm now combined with the scrambled eggs known as my work life. So I've just got omelets everywhere here at this point, and going, great, that's lovely. Oy. Yeah, lovely times. Oh well. Oh yeah, so Toyota Sports Center people this weekend. Your normal section of Nash Street to get into the rink is closed. There's filming. FYI, check Facebook if you're trying to get to the rink and then you're wondering how the F do I get in. there's an alternative map on Facebook. Just get onto Toyota Center's Facebook page. I actually found out this morning why, and I'm not sure how many people are actually watching this, but they are doing filming for a new MCU movie. I think it's called Captain Marvel, and it's supposed to be a filming chase scene for Captain Marvel that is being filmed right on the street where Toyota Sports Center is. So if any of you guys are all fan people of the comics and stuff, and no, I have not watched Avengers Infinity War. I don't plan on doing that till next week. I do have a scheduled time showing that I'm going to be watching it on, and well, actually it's tentatively scheduled, but you know, you get the idea. Not really interested in any spoilers, but yeah, they're already preparing for the second tier of the Marvel MCU on the movies, and you know, the end of a decade of this one, and I'll tell you, it's been a long ride. I'm hearing a lot of emotions coming out of this one, which kind of reminds me of when The Last Jedi came out, and everyone was like all over the place about it, and you know, periods of mourning and whatever. Which I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I guess that has to be put into a certain mindset and context as well. I mean, in regards to filming, I mean, I'm no stranger to having MCU's movies filmed nearby, because when I was still living in Cleveland, or in the area right outside of Cleveland, downtown Cleveland was being used as filming for Captain America Winter Soldier, which, in my opinion, out of all of the MCU movies, Captain America Winter Soldier is one of my top 5 out of all of the MCUs from the last 10 years. So, and it also is a bit nostalgic, because when everyone's getting their asses kicked, it's somewhere between 6th Street and the Cleveland Museum of Art. So it's it was a nice usage of Cleveland, at least the parts that aren't boring and disgusting. So that was kind of nice. Anyway, I muse. So yes, there's traffic. There's traffic everywhere, and road closures around my parts of town. But I am proud to say, for the 3rd straight year in a row, that I have avoided the Pirate Days Parade for the 3rd straight year in a row due to work. It's actually kind of cool. So currently crossing over here just past the 22, crossing through Westminster. And I hope to keep some updates about what's going on, you know, and other things in my world. I will say, though, as I've reiterated before, I am okay. It's not the end of anything, but rather the transition to something else. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything, you just want to drop me a line, you know where to find me. I'm just going to be driving for a while, and eventually getting to where I have to be, and then back home again. So be good, be kind, and rewind. I'm going to drink this oolong tea that I have in my center console, and yeah, see nothing but road, because that's pretty much what I've been doing, driving a lot. Oh, and before I forget, Eleanor update. Yes, she is still in the shop. Estimated release time has been Tuesday of this upcoming week. I'll just take that with a grain of salt. Right. Anyway, be good, be kind, rewind, be awesome to each other. Just stay safe out there, please.